Last week on the Bear Whisperer, Blaine went over the types of sounds bears make. This week, we're in Ontario, and Blaine shows you how he picks a bear bait site, then puts his techniques to the test and sees if he can get a big bruin to come in.
So now we fast forward to 2011, we're in Ontario, I'm doing the Bear Whisperer series. I do realize the most popular way to hunt is over bait, so I gotta do one show over bait, but I'm gonna go a step further and I'm actually gonna show why we picked the bait that we picked. Over there at Rugby Lake Lodge, they let me pretty much have the run of the place. I can go around, I can look at baits, I can see what's getting hit, I can look at surrounding terrain, I can set up the bait any way I want, which I absolutely love, control freak like that. I basically had the opportunity to go pick my own bait, to choose a spot to bait, and show you, the viewer, if you have baiting in your state, or even if you don't have baiting in your state and you're going to a state that does, or you go to an outfitter that's gonna let you choose a bait, I'm gonna give you some really, really good clues on how to find bears that are one, big, and two, how to find great baits, but baits that are gonna house a lot of bears in one area so that your odds of seeing a bear during legal shooting hours is a lot more possible. Now, don't get me wrong, the big monster bears, the 300-plussers, 300-pound plus bears, they are typically, unless you're way out west and you're just in a crazy bear-infested place, you're still gonna shoot these bears with 5 minutes of legal shooting time left. You're typically not going to shoot these bears at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Does it happen? Absolutely. Do most TV shows wait till it does happen? Absolutely. That's what we did for 7 years on television before filming this series. A bear would come in, the light would be horrible, and we just wouldn't shoot the bear, and we'd actually sacrifice bear size to get great video for you. We're not going to do that on this episode. We are going to harvest a bear, look for a bear the way it really happens, the way you can expect to have it happen to you, rather than this unrealistic TV version of a bear over bait hunt. So we're gonna go in the field right now, and I'm just gonna kind of give you a rundown of why I picked this bait, what makes a good bait, signs on different baits that show where there's great bear activity, where there's aggressive bear activity, and where there's a lot of bear activity, because that's what you need. You need enough bear activity that there's bears gonna come in during legal shooting hours. If there's only one bear and he's 10 years old, you'll probably never see that bear. The reason being is there's no reason for him to come in early. Why not come in at midnight? It'd be a lot safer for him. Because that bear, almost every time that bear comes in, he knows you're there. He knows something's wrong. You can go to scent lock to your eyeballs and you can spray down with all of the stuff that you want. In the end, a bear has 8 times the power, nose power, of a bloodhound. 8 times. That's 800% better smell ability than a bloodhound. So you're not going to trick this bear. He is going to tolerate you. That's why hunting over bait is the most popular way to hunt, because most of the time it's the only time you're ever going to see a bear. Out in Pennsylvania and other awesome states, if you got California, you know, you can see bears in the broad daylight walking around, well, just before dark walking around. But typically in states that allow baiting, very human, smart bears. They come in, you harvest them. You're harvesting them, but they know you're there. I guarantee you talk to people that shot big bears over baits, almost all of them will tell you that they locked eyes locked eyes with that bear before they shot it. 2-year-old bears, not so much. They know you're there, they just don't care. But the big bears, they always know you're there, and they do care. Their overwhelming urge to have a donut is more than you sitting there. So I'm going to the field. I'm going to show you why I chose this bait. I'm going to show you a couple different baits that I visited, show you some different signs, from no trespassing signs to just great spots to have bears, and how I could tell there was a ton of bears there.
When we get back, Blaine will show you how to find the perfect bait site for the next time you're hunting bears over bait.
5+, 6+, 15+ year-old bears will make this pile of grass right here. All right, we just got to Rugby Lake Lodge, and Dave gave us permission to go to the baits that we know of. We told him which ones we know, and we're gonna go look for the perfect bait that's set up perfectly for hot weather. Gets real cold at night right now, anywhere from 65 all the way down to 54. So basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna show you why, what, where, when we think is a perfect bait. And hopefully it'll help you if you ever go bait yourself. I know most people just go to outfitters, but if you're driving around with an outfitter, we're gonna give you some inklings on what to look for while you're driving around. All right, well, we're at the first bait. I can tell you what I don't like about this bait initially is the fact that it's flat. It's flat on every end. I can't find any hills, any hollers. Looking at the topo maps, nothing, it's flat. But Dave said it is getting slammed. He set up our gorilla ground blind, which is our gorilla condo, we like to call it, up on this bait because there's no place to put a tree stand. And we are going to head into this bait first and hopefully be able to hit all these baits before it rains. So let's check this out. This is a bear trail. Oh, this is a bear trail, and I am positive I get the fairly rare opportunity to show you a no trespassing sign, which is right over there. And to have a no trespassing sign on a bait is just absolutely awesome. That means there's a dominant bear in here. A lot of people call no trespassing sign a million different things. It's a no trespassing sign. It's what a bear leaves to let the other bears know, do not come in here. It's right over there. This is an awesome bear trail. I don't know how far from the bait I am, but I know I'm within 50 yards. Why? Because this is a trail that a big bear, not a 2-year-old, but a big bear, is gonna circle. Circle, circle, circle. And I don't like the fact that this is all woods, which means he's probably got a complete circle around this bait that he's gonna run a couple times before he ever makes it here. And if he wins you, you're done. He's not coming in, plain and simple. But I wanna show you this no trespassing sign over here, which is just absolutely phenomenal. This right here is a bear comes up here. I'm 5'10", so you got to imagine a bear comes up here and takes a bite out of that tree right there and says, "Don't come here." He snapped off here. He snapped off here, and again, he's making a circle around this bait, which I'm not liking this because it's all woods, which means he's probably making a complete circle. He will eventually wind you. There's no scent lock, scent blocker, scent prevention in the world that's gonna stop a bear from smelling you if you're downwind, and that's that. So if you are downwind, you're gonna see a bunch of 1.5 and 2.5-year-old bears. You will never ever see a mature bear because they will wind you every single time, but that is good news. This is a big bear because he turned sideways. If I turn sideways, I'm 5'10", to bite this tree. I'm gonna do this, I'm here. So 5'10", 6 feet tall. So that's a 6-foot bear all day long. And that's not necessarily a giant. I've seen no trespassing signs this high before, but that's a great sign. He's a dominant bear. Awesome, awesome. There's our gorilla ground blind right over there. Looks like 12 yards from the bait. The beautiful thing about the gorilla ground blind in this situation, you close that back door back there, he'll have no idea you're there. And it's been here for 2 weeks. I sent it up to him. It's been sitting there. You can see how well that thing blends in. It's just sick. And hunting bears from the ground with a bow is There's nothing like it. Again, makes me want to hunt here. But as you can see, this is all flat. And I'm guessing I may hunt here because the bear trail coming into the bait is sick. But the fact that it's flat's bothering me because it's so hot. They're getting close to 90-degree days here, and they're gonna look for these lowlands. And the closest bait to the lowlands is where they're gonna wanna go. But this bait is absolutely phenomenal. There's still bait here, didn't get hit. And I'll tell you, I don't care when a bait gets hit or not get hit. People are so into, you know, this whole, did the bait get hit, did the bait get hit? Big bears don't hit every day. They hit once every 3 days, once a week, who knows, but, and I'm here hunting a big bear, so if this bait's hit, not hit, we got pictures of bears on this bait. All right, so we're gonna get out of here. It's gonna start raining, and as always, I don't do this unless it's gonna rain this night to get rid of all my scent. So it's about 10 o'clock in the morning, and it is definitely gonna start raining at some point. We can actually hear thunder, but we're gonna get off this bait, and this bait looks really, really good. Strong possibility I'm gonna sit here with the crazy trail coming into this bait. The grill has been set up for 2 weeks. The bears are totally used to it, and I don't know if I've seen one set up better than that. So let's roll out of here and go to the next bait. We got about 6 we can visit, so. All right, this next bait that we're going to, bait number 2, we're gonna check out, and the reason being is it's on top of this hill over here, and it goes down both ways, and where it's so hot, the bears could be bedding down here, but I don't really know the terrain getting there. I know there's a big field up here, so we're gonna go check this bait out and see what we think about this one. So far, this looks like the best bait for the current weather conditions we have, because we are now headed uphill again, and everything on both sides of us goes downhill. And if the woods are thick enough, which they certainly appear to be, there's going to be thermals down there, and it can be 15 degrees cooler down there. So if it's 80 degrees up here, we could have some 60-degree weather down in these bottoms. And the woods are really, really, really thick. So what we want to look for when we get up here to the top of the hill, wow, this looks really good. When we get up here to the top of the hill, we're going to start looking for bear paths and bear tunnels that are where they'd be bedding behind the camera right here and working their way across this road and over this way. And so far, this is hands down the best area.
Coming up, Blaine has just a couple more tips, then puts his techniques to the test.
Okay, I want to stress without a shadow of a doubt, I would not be here if it wasn't going to rain tonight. It is going to rain tonight. But this place is so matted down. I'm going to show you 2 different things of the reason I'm not going to go look at any other baits after I leave here. This is the bait I'm going to sit. We're going to let it rain tonight, and then we're going to come back and sit. 2 big things. 1, obviously the bait's clear. That's 1. We'll say 3 then. Number 2, down here, you see this pile of grass. Anytime you can see this pile of grass at a bait, I am telling you right now, you need to sit there. 2-year-old bears do not do this. Big, old, mature, 5+, 6+, 15+ year old bears will make this pile of grass right here. And all they're really doing is telling everybody that this is their bait. And as you can see here, what they'll do is they'll actually bury food under there so that the small bears can't get it. Just like a grizzly bear would bury its prey after killing it. These black bears do the exact same thing, and it almost looks like a hay bale. They gather up sticks and grass and everything, but they spend all the time in the world to sit here and bury this grass. You can actually see right here the strawberry filling and everything else, what they're not finishing, they're literally trying to bury. Now, thankfully, the small bears come in and they'll unbury it and they'll stick their nose in there, and it just makes the big bears matter, makes the big bears come in earlier. But seeing this, I know there's multiple bears here because there's a big bear burying food, trying to keep it away from the smaller bears, or making this their bait. And without a shadow of a doubt, I am definitely not going anywhere. Just on that alone, the grass being piled up equals big bear. So the other thing, Jason's going to turn around in just a second. There's a path coming in here that you can tell every bear's taking. It's coming out of the bottoms. It's a nice, beautiful trail that comes in. They got protection right till they get here. It might be bright out there, and it might be bright 20 yards behind me, but right here, it's dark. All of this cover, Dave put this in a perfect spot where it's going to get dark quick in here, which means the bear needs to be comfortable to come in here and eat. So, you know, for me to see this bear at 8:45, 9 o'clock, the only way is for it to be dark here. If the bait was in the middle of the field, you'd never see him during legal shooting hours. So this is where we're going to spend the least amount of time, obviously, which is right on the bait. So basically, we're going to get out of here. We're going to go grab the gorilla tree stands. We're going to come back. We're going to set them up. And we're definitely hunting here for the entire week.
After sitting for a couple hours, a bear slowly works his way up the path towards the bait site.
Absolutely beautiful, big hump on his back. If you look at his back end, we'd want it to be a lot wider, and we want his belly to be a little bigger. But if he was 53 inches and 300 pounds, I would probably take him. But him being that skinny means he's very immature, probably 2.5, possibly a skinny 3.5-year-old because he's so long. But he's just a beautiful black bear, but he's not a shooter in Ontario. Ontario, you really can wait for a 300-pounder. We got a picture of a bear that had a big bump on its belly, a big tumor or something, and we're kind of waiting for this bear. We'd like to take him out. I'm not sure what he has, but he's a good bear. He's 300 plus. The hunt and trail camera took a nice picture of him, a lot of nice pictures of him. Too small, a little too small. We like him, he's just a little too small.
Blaine notices how this bear is looking back down the main path that leads to the site. He knows if this bear takes off running, the big boy is on his way in. Stay tuned next week when we'll find out if the giant bear Blaine's been waiting for makes his way in.